Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you manage an online group, forum, or digital community, you already know the drill. It's fast-paced, high stakes, and yeah, sometimes it feels like you're putting out a fire while someone else is actively throwing gasoline on it. Right? You are essentially a digital first responder. Every single day brings a new barrage of crises, from loud, messy arguments to just sudden, eerie silences. But just like a paramedic arriving at a chaotic scene, you can't just start slapping on bandages at random. You need a system, a triage framework to assess the situation calmly and deploy the exact right treatment. We've all felt that sudden spike of panic, haven't we? One day the community is buzzing, and the next, absolute crickets. Your heart rate jumps and you're thinking, wait, did I do something wrong? Is everybody leaving? It is incredibly stressful. But before we mash the panic button and flood the feed with random polls just to force some engagement, we really have to pause. We gotta accurately diagnose these symptoms before jumping in. Treating a simple holiday nap like a full-blown cardiac arrest, that's just gonna exhaust you and seriously annoy your community. So here is our roadmap for triaging these community emergencies. 1. The 3 failure modes. 2. De-escalating active conflict. 3. Handling complaints properly. 4. Diagnosing dead air. And 5. Holding the boundary. Let's get into it.
All right, Section 1, the 3 failure modes. Let's step right up to the triage desk.
Think of this as mapping out the entire battlefield of community moderation. We've got 3 distinct problems to look out for: conflict, complaint, and dead air. For each one, there's a clear definition, the absolute worst thing you can do, the wrong first move, and the right first move. The crucial takeaway here? You absolutely cannot treat a complaint like a conflict, or treat dead air like a complaint. Mixing up your treatments is literally a fatal mistake for community health. Like, if you treat a simple complaint about a broken link like an escalating conflict, you're just going to alienate your users. Diagnosing the exact problem, that's your most critical job.
Moving right along to Section 2, de-escalating active conflict.
Okay, so active conflict. This is where the sparks are actually flying. 2 or more members are openly clashing, and here is the kicker. It is entirely visible to the rest of the group. That visibility changes everything. When a fight happens in the digital town square, everyone else is watching to see what the sheriff, that's you, is going to do. If you just stay silent and hope everyone magically calms down, well, your silence is going to be read as tacit permission for the fight to continue. You simply can't ignore it.
So, how do we handle it? Follow this 4-part de-escalation sequence to defuse the bomb safely without overreacting or completely dismissing anyone. Step 1. Name it publicly. Don't pretend it isn't happening. Step 2. Acknowledge both sides have a point of view worth hearing. Notice I didn't say you have to agree with them, just acknowledge them. Step 3. Move the specifics to a private channel. And Step 4. Close the loop publicly. This structure is amazing because it keeps you neutral, in control, and totally protects the wider community from the fallout.
Honestly, the golden rule of conflict moderation is this. Public space is for tone setting, not resolution. You're basically stepping onto the stage to say, hey, we hear this, we're handling it, but we are taking it off stage. Just remember to follow up privately with each party involved, not just the person who's complaining the loudest. And once you've had those private chats, come back to the main feed to briefly close the loop for the whole group. Just don't drag up all the messy details again.
Okay, Section 3, handling complaints properly.
Now, a complaint is a very different beast from a conflict. This is when a single member directs a grievance right at you or the community structure itself. And when it lands on your desk, it's usually this tangled mess of feelings and facts. To avoid getting defensive or over-apologizing, you have to surgically separate the raw emotion from the factual request. Say a user is crying out, "I feel totally ignored by the group." That's the emotion. But the hidden factual request might just be, "Can you fix the notification glitch?" Both definitely need addressing, but separately. Conflate them and you'll either dismiss their very valid feelings or you'll overcorrect and try to fix something that was never actually broken in the first place.
It's so easy to fall into a trap here. We want to clear the notification, right? So we reply instantly. But listen to this. A complaint answered fast but shallow often causes more damage than one answered slower but properly. Speed should absolutely never override substance. A fast, shallow response basically reads as, "Please go away." A slow, thoughtful response reads as, "I hear you." Taking an extra hour or even an extra day to craft a response that validates their emotion and directly addresses their factual request, that's going to build immense loyalty. The feelings and the facts both deserve a well-thought-out response.
Which brings us to Section 4, diagnosing dead air.
The scenario that keeps community managers up at night.
Why is the group so quiet? As we talked about earlier, when faced with an empty feed, our instinct is to assume the worst. We think, oh no, the community is dying. But instead of flooding the group with frantic content, we have to run a diagnostic test. Is this silence a disease or just a totally natural pause? Before you intervene, you need to check these 3 specific signals. First up, is it just seasonal or expected? Are there holidays, exams, major industry events happening right now? Because if so, the silence is totally normal. Second, look for member regression. Is it just 1 or 2 highly active key members who went quiet and everyone else is just passively waiting for them? And third, is it a structural issue? Has the group's stated purpose stopped matching what the members actually need today? Checking these 3 things tells you exactly what kind of silence you're dealing with.
And your diagnosis completely dictates your strategy. If it's a structural lull, you might deploy a low-effort prompt to revive things. If key members are missing, send a private DM to check in on them. And if it's just a seasonal holiday, do absolutely nothing. You just have to accept that quiet periods are totally normal and completely fine. Seriously, sometimes do nothing is literally the best community management strategy you can use. And finally, let's look at Section 5, holding the boundary. We've talked about all these triage tactics, but let's talk mindset. Remember this, de-escalation is not synonymous with giving in. The real skill of a first responder isn't just smoothing things over and trying to make everyone smile. It's about holding a boundary calmly and safely. You aren't there to agree with every complaint or cater to the loudest voice in a conflict. You are there to maintain the structural integrity and the safety of the community space. And yes, you can absolutely validate someone's feelings without conceding your rules. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought to chew on. When a conflict ends, what is the risk of closing the loop publicly too thoroughly, like dragging all the drama back into the light, versus not closing it at all and handling it purely in the shadows? Finding that perfect balance, that is your true superpower as a moderator. Thanks for joining me on the front lines today, and good luck out there.